Hello, my name is Andrew Diaz, and I am a lawyer with the Eminent domain law firm of Gaylord, Merlin, Ludovici, and Diaz. I've practiced now close to 30 years solely in the field of eminent domain, and prior to that I was a state certified real estate appraiser here in Florida.
My name is Blake Gaylord. I've been practicing eminent domain since 2007. Prior to that, I was an Army officer. I served in both Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. Eminent domain is the power of the government to take private property for public use.
Gaylord Merlin is a law firm dedicated solely to representing clients in eminent domain matters. We've over close to 150 years of experience between the 5 attorneys that practice. We practice throughout the entire state of Florida representing property owners and have worked on significant cases throughout the state over our history as a law firm.
We represent clients from Pensacola to Miami. Large retailers, large landowners, ranches, churches, businesses, gas stations, individual homeowners. There's no case that's too small, no problem too small. We can help everybody that is impacted by eminent domain. It's what we do, and we take that duty very seriously.
Full compensation is the standard that the Florida Constitution requires that agencies that have the power of eminent domain pay a property owner for the taking. And full compensation is different than fair market value. Fair market value assumes a willing buyer and a willing seller. Eminent domain does not have a willing buyer and a willing seller. It has a government agency wanting to take property. A property owner has to be paid for their loss, and the whole concept of full compensation is to put the property owner in as good a position as they were financially had there been no taking. And where Florida is different than all the other states in the country, under full compensation, any agency using the power of eminent domain has to pay the property owner's attorney's fees and costs. So at the end of the day, full compensation's goal is to put the owner in as good a position financially had they been absent the taking.
One of the things that you learn is that property isn't always what it seems to the naked eye. A recent case that we worked on had to do with the growth of perennial peanut. To the naked eye, it appeared to just be a green field, and perennial peanut can be used as a forage crop for cattle and things like that. In this case, what appeared to simply be just a green field was actually producing sod. What that meant is that sod sold at $1.50 a square foot, and it could be harvested 2 to 3 times per year. That's a very valuable crop that to the naked eye appeared to just be a green field. And so what we learn is that property isn't always what it seems, and that field with cows in it may be in the process of being redeveloped. There may be zoning applications, there may be all kinds of things that have gone on. And so driving by, you see a field with cows in it, but to the owner of that field, it's a future development. To the owner of that field, it could be sod. And so we learn that what it appears to the naked eye is not always the whole story. And one thing I'd point out is one of the things that I love about our job and what our firm does is we really become students of every property that's impacted. We have to learn everything about it. We have to learn how it looks. It may look like a field with cows in it. It may look like just a parking lot, but then we look deeper. And so we have to learn about that property, about what the history of the property, the future of the property. And so as an eminent domain attorney, we become students of every single property, whether it's 500 square foot taking or 50 acres. You could have a 600 square foot taking, which is a very small piece of property. But if that results in a driveway closure and you can't get fuel trucks to put gas in the ground to sell, you can no longer use that site to sell gas. And so it could be true of anything. If you can't get your inventory to your business because of a driveway closure, and this is a very frequent thing, you can't get 40-foot trucks in and out of a site any longer, even if it's a 500 square foot taking, it could have $1 million of impact. So the size of the taking does not determine the size of the problem.
The acquisition or taking of someone's property ultimately is a legal proceeding. And so when the agents, whether it's for the state of Florida with the DOT or the Water Management District, or pipeline companies, their agents will be contacting you. So it's going to ultimately be some sort of formal process, but it begins as an informal process. And so the concern is that they will start getting into discussions, not realizing that this will probably lead to a legal proceeding. The government agencies, the condemning authorities, they've got their eye on the litigation. Their goal is to acquire the property as quickly and as cheaply as they can.
When you're contacted by a condemning authority, the first thing you should do is call an attorney. You're entitled to that attorney's representation by law at no cost to you. And so the only person that loses by not hiring an attorney or calling an attorney or consulting with an attorney is the property owner.
Our goal is to make sure our clients' rights are protected, that every penny they're entitled to, that we claim as compensation, and put together a team of experts and get an understanding of the property so that we can represent our clients to the best of our ability and make sure their constitutional rights are protected. At the end of the day, a property owner, if they're approached, they should call an attorney to help them through this process.
When we say the constitutional guarantee of full compensation includes the payment of attorney's fees, what the Florida Constitution says, what Florida law says, is that if a private property owner has their property taken and from those proceeds has to pay an attorney, then they can't be fully compensated. And so the payment of attorney's fees is above and beyond the compensation paid to the property owner. It's calculated based on a benefit that the lawyer achieves for the client.
And eminent domain, what's interesting about eminent domain, it is the only type of legal proceeding where a property owner has done absolutely nothing wrong, nor has there been any claim or allegation that a promise was broken, a contract was broken, a crime was committed. The only thing that person did was own land in the way of so-called public, progress.
The attorney's fees in Florida are determined by statute. They're part of the law. In our firm's case, we take our cases based on what we're paid by the condemning authority, and we do not look to our clients to pay us in any way. Sometimes we have clients that we've represented for 10 years before any project happens. And during that 10 years, we've walked with them, we've given them information, we've communicated with them. So we tend to form a tight bond with our clients. But at no time in that 10 years did we ever send a bill, or will we ever send a bill. We've worked with clients with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line and clients with hundreds of dollars on the line, and we represent them all the same. For more about our firm and the eminent domain process, visit GaylordMerlin.com. For more videos like this, visit landjournal.net.